I need help with a couple of things. One, do you have two Teslas? Or do you just have one? Or maybe you're still trying to decide whether you want one or not. But I'm in a little bit of a pickle. It's not a pickle in a bad way, but it's a really kind of a cool pickle. Um, my wife enjoys the car. We have one Tesla. And, we've got, obviously, there's been some deals that have been going on. But in a very cool way, because of you and many of you, several people have taken my referral code and purchased a Tesla and or ordered one. And now I'm sitting with a whole bunch of credits, which I am incredibly grateful for, which also highlights what's just so kind of perfect about what Tesla's doing relative to advertising. I mean, there is no advertising. Advertising is me, it's you, it's the word of mouth. It's the users, it's the car experience that other people are having, and they're just telling people about it. And so I have a bunch of credits, and I can take advantage of the EV credit. So now I'm like, okay, how do we get another one? Well, my wife loves the car for a lot of reasons, but she also has had some challenges with it. And mostly it's around the technology piece. She has some assumptions, and I talked about these frameworks, right? We walk around with assumptions. We need to kind of remove those. We need to challenge our assumptions. The other thing that is bothering her a little bit is just the comfortability of it, and it's, again, tech related. That's really her primary concern, is just kind of getting adapted to the tech. And it takes some getting used to, that's for sure. There's a couple things, I've been driving it for a few months, and there's a couple of things I'm still not 100% used to yet. Just like, for example, full self-driving, finding where the wipers turn on and off. The temperature's changed now. It's our car starts to get fogged up a little bit. It's just kind of getting used to the controls, right? And that's all it is. Just small things, but it's just change, right? And adapting to change. The other thing that she has on her mind that's of concern for her is, should we have two electric cars? What about not having a gas car at all? And so we have a van. It's paid for. It's been paid for a long time, but it's at that 160,000 mark. It's a Honda Odyssey, and now we're rolling the dice pretty much on the regular as to whether or not this thing is going to kind of, function for a long time. Now, if we spent $2,000 just repairing it, over a course of a year, it's not even $200 a month in a car payment. So that's actually still a pretty good deal. But right now, I know in front of me I have a $900 some bill for a new oil gasket and spark plugs, and so it's just going to continue to kind of develop like that, right? Where we're going to have some issues. Plus, there's just oil changes, gas, brakes. That'll be coming again soon, probably in the next 6 months. So, I've kind of been chirping at her and others. I've told people like, hey, I've got all these credits. Man, I mean, before I even purchase the car, I have a huge downstroke in credits. And it's incredible. And so how do I take advantage of that? How do I maximize the opportunity? Well, I didn't think I wanted to have two electric cars and no gas cars. At this point, I'm all in. I don't see any reason why we couldn't. I don't know what the challenge will be if we don't have another gas car. So a couple of her reasons for that. Like, what if we take a long trip, she asks. What if we take a long trip and we need to get someplace fast? And I'm like, in 30 years of marriage, I don't know how many times that's ever happened. And so I suppose it could. She wondered, how long will it take to charge the car? Well, it's going to take anywhere from 15 minutes to half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, depending on the level of charger, depending on, where am I in the charge when I go in. I mean, there's a lot of factors, but it's going to take it probably takes no more than, it might not take any less than 5 to 10 minutes to fill up your tank, no matter where you go. And then there's going to the bathroom if you're on a road trip, right? Or, and this is what we're talking about, is like on a road trip, not just in the area, but on a long distance road trip. You're not going to just pull over typically, just fill up gas, never go inside. You're not going to leave your car behind. I don't typically leave my car behind. So you're burning no less than 10 minutes at a gas station every time. That's going to happen. And if there's three of you, like myself, my wife, my child, it's going to be a good 15 minutes probably. And so during that 15 minutes, I'd be charging. And well, I mean, it's going to be pretty far charged. If I had to, I could get up and go at some point, because in 15 minutes, I think with these power chargers, it's going to fill up quite a bit. I'd love to hear your experience on that. What is the reality of a long distance, across the states experience driving this car and getting it charged? What's the average time that you spend with just charging the vehicle? And then at some point you're going to eat, and maybe you do sit down and you eat in the car, and that's fine. We do that. But even there, you still got to get the food, right? So it's, again, you're going to be in that 15 to 20 minute range, I think, at every stop, just about. And so how much extra time are we talking in the burden of charging the car when you're trying to go someplace far? I would think it's going to be somewhere in that extra 10 to 20 minutes per stop. And so across 1,500 miles, maybe accumulate an extra hour and a half. I don't know. That's not so bad. So I kind of try to propose that to her, and she's been thinking about it for a while. And she's also concerned about how the car is going to drive in the snow. I think the car is going to be great in the snow. All my reviewing of people driving these cars in the snow is really good. And some of you put tires on, snow tires. A lot of you don't. I never put snow tires on my Audi A7. That thing was a monster in the snow. Not 1 year did I have an issue. There was a couple of times where, it was really slippery and nasty, and I was on an incline going up our driveway, and I just kind of like tested it to see if I could get up. And it struggled a little bit, but I just backed up and I just went right up. I mean, it was no big deal. So that's another concern for her is, how's this thing going to handle in the snow? She's had a van for a while, and the van is awful in the snow, and she just doesn't want to deal with it. She just doesn't want to deal with it. So I was kind of like toying with the idea of, do we get a Tesla Model 3, long range rear wheel drive, where she could have that as her daily, but if it's going to snow or there's a chance of snow, she could take my car. We could switch, and I could drive the Model 3. I don't care. But there's going to be, in her mind, those rare occasions where she's got to be someplace, I have to be someplace, and it's snowing. So that's rolling the dice too much for her. I'm thinking about, do I lease it? I don't know how much of the credits you can put down on a lease and towards a lease. Or do I just buy it outright? Now, not outright, but, put a massive down payment on it and just enjoy cash flow. Now, currently the interest rates are at 5.99. She came to me and said, I think I've just been stubborn, and we should take advantage of these Tesla credits, and maybe this would be a great time. And I was like burning inside with excitement. Now I told her, of course, I said, honey, I think your questions are great. I think they're important questions. I think they're questions that you need to have answers to, and you need to know for yourself. And I can be very convincing when I want to be, and if I'm super excited about something. And so I've done everything I can to really not do that, because I don't want her to be dissatisfied, right? Because she's going to end up with the car. Now, these are just some of her concerns, right? So it's driving really far. It's, charging challenges. It's, how about the snow? We'll teach her how to drive the thing. That's not a big deal. And that just will get better with time. I mean, I left my house 10 minutes ago. I haven't done any driving. Full self-driving is pretty great for me most of the time. I do notice that, between speed limit changes, at least on the country roads where I'm at, it doesn't always perform really well. Sometimes it comes in hot and a little too fast. sometimes it slows down a tremendous amount. And I don't know if that's just user error or if it's just kind of the learning still of the car in the version that I have, which is not 13. So again, I'm curious from you, do you have two EVs? Do you have one? Are you contemplating getting a second EV? And whether it's Tesla or not, the bonus for us is we know the Tesla, we're comfortable with the Tesla. I've got a Tesla charger, I've got the hook, the cord, right? And I already have a level 2 charger in my house, so I don't need to get another one. I would just get a trickle charge and plug my car in, let hers make sure it's charged up. We don't burn a lot of energy anyways, and so I'm not really worried about that. And if I need to charge during the morning, not during the night, because there's no advantage, at least in my town where I'm at with ComEd is who I have. The only thing I could do is switch over to like some hourly rate thing, but I don't want to have to completely disrupt, the day of like doing washing stuff, which we don't have a lot of electricity running anyways during the day. So I don't know that it would really even make a difference. So just out of convenience, I just do it at night. So anyways, what do you do, if you're me, right? I've got basically 5 digits in credits, and I've got some more coming. So I've broken into 5 digits with credits just to be transparent. I mean, it's so cool. At the same time, as much as I've received in credits, everybody's received that much discount because I've shared my referral code. And in some cases where an X or an S was purchased, they got $2,000 versus the one. I mean, and by the way, my brother bought a Tesla Model Y long range all-wheel drive, and he used my referral code to get it. And now I'm going to use his referral code to go and potentially get another one. So look at the full circle there. I mean, it's just so cool. So are there any concerns about Tesla credits, how they work, how they don't work? Is there anything you could tell me in the comments and then share back with others that look through here? So I need your help. Give me some suggestions as I kind of wrestle through this other moment of choice. Like, this is a big moment of choice for me because we'd have two, and we'd have essentially 2 brand new cars. I've looked at used ones. I've kind of thought about that, but the interest rates, by the way, I know it's 5.59 right now or whatever it is. There's some chatter about how they're likely going to drop interest rates again. How real is that? I don't know. But I don't even worry about the interest. Yes, my dollar would go further had we got the 0%. I get that. But I also didn't pay for a lot of this down payment because I'm taking advantage of these credits that I have. So I kind of offset that in my mind, just how I'm thinking about it practically. And so anyway, it'd be great to know what you think. And also I appreciate you subscribing to this channel. I'm just learning how to do this and I'm getting going. So this has been really awesome engaging with you and just connecting with some of you in the comments. There's just been some amazing comments on some of my videos regarding how you're buying, why you purchased. Some of you even said, hey, I didn't even get, why does it have to be a Tesla? It could be any EV. And a few of you have talked about how you've had other EVs. I remember one guy talked about a Polestar. I didn't even know what that was. So that's kind of cool. Even though he had one and I think a couple of other EVs, he switched over to a Tesla at the end of the day. So thanks again for listening and any of your comments and for subscribing. Appreciate the support.